Hello, welcome to Confessions of a Frustrated Game Master. I am Robert, the narrator, and thank you for joining me for another supplemental episode of Confessions. Well, yes, this will be a supplemental episode because this topic is not one of the main topics of my channel. My channel is supposed to be about the life of a game master once they get a little long in the tooth and have seen a lot in the hobby. And this is not really representative of that. But as always, I want to hope that everyone is doing well, your friends and family are doing well in these crazy times. And that's all I will say about that. Now, on to gaming and fun, hopefully. The reason this is a supplemental episode of Confessions is because over the period that we've been experiencing, I have had an opportunity to push forward one of my dreams. For a long time, I have wanted to put together a role-playing game, design a role-playing game in a setting that I can call my own. And all I have ever wanted to do was to hold in my hand even a semi-professional representation of a system and a setting that I have designed on my own. And after 15 years, I have finally gotten incredibly close to that goal. And in my hand, I hold a semi-professional, and this copy is a misprinted copy. But in my hand, I am holding at least a semi-professional representation of the fantasy heartbreaker that I have described on my channel before, Peace, the role-playing game. And what this basically is at this point, the game is completely written from the first page to the last page of the game. I'm in the process of editing. My significant other is helping me with editing because she is good enough to do so. And because of the expense of editing, she is going to do it, but she is not super excited about the prospect. And as you can imagine, she is going at her own pace. So the game has been completely written. It's being edited. And my next step for the game is to purchase myself enough art to maybe do a Kickstarter campaign. And the Kickstarter campaign will solely be to get the game to that semi-professional level that I'm looking for, a completely illustrated RPG that I can actually share with folks. That is the ultimate goal now. I kind of moved past the idea of having just something that looks semi-professional that I can hold in my hand. I want to share it with everyone. And the next step in that process is to complete a free basic edition that I can put up in PDF form on DriveThruRPG, followed by, and that will have probably a third of the content of the main book. And then after that, I want to do a what I call a basic edition plus, which will have another third of the information from the core rule book. And I'm going to charge a very minimal amount for that if people want to get that additional information for the game and the setting. And then ultimately, I want to do a Kickstarter. So that is what this is about. So this is a supplemental episode about the dream that I've had for 14 years. And basically, I'm going to do a series of videos that discusses my game Peace. And I'm going to put up supplemental episodes on my channel, and I'm going to make another channel that is solely devoted to my role-playing game. And I think I have probably waited way too long to say this. We are, what, 4 minutes in, and I still haven't said this. A lot of people will not be interested in the journey of a amateur role-playing game designer who has never designed anything in their life and who doesn't have any name or status in the industry. And generally, a lot of RPG fans know what they like. They're playing the game that they like, and they couldn't care less about anything else. But what I will say is, and I've said it way too late. As a part of discussing how I came to put my game together, there will be a lot of universal topics that I'll touch upon. So it won't be just all about my game. As part of discussing my game, a lot of universal topics will be touched upon, and I'm going to talk about one of those things right now. One of the kind of design philosophies or focuses of my game, and so 14 years ago, I was sitting around my bedroom doing nothing when I had a random thought, and the random thought I had was a reflection that I had only at that time played two fantasy RPGs that at some point in my character's adventuring career did not make me feel like that character was a supporting character in a novel. You know, that character who was not a main character, and if he died, the main characters would mourn for half a page and then forget about him. I was at the time playing some system in which characters were super frail, and I can't remember what system it was, but even if I could, I wouldn't name it here because I don't want to do any shaming of other RPGs. And I thought to myself at the time, wouldn't it be cool if a fantasy RPG allowed players to feel comfortable about portraying their characters as fearless heroes? If even at first level, a player character would feel comfortable wading into a bunch of NPCs and have a good chance of surviving, and not just because all of the NPCs were mooks. I also thought, wouldn't it be cool if the game did not punish the player characters for being heroic by making it highly likely a nameless mook could end them unceremoniously? Now, fast forward to present day, some of the most popular fantasy RPGs out today have been designed to make PCs more competent. But some, however, still start PCs at beginning levels, barely able to withstand a stiff breeze. So I still wanted to address, I think that my motivation to make a fantasy RPG like this still stand today, 14 years later, because still some of the biggest RPGs out there start characters at first levels incredibly frail. Now, inevitably, someone may take my comments as an attack on other RPGs or playstyles. Here is my obligatory disclaimer. I am not. I did not have the desire to experience more heroic fantasy systems because less heroic fantasy systems were bad. I simply wanted a different experience for the sake of variety. Now, end of obligatory disclaimer there. Now, with that, I started considering my own RPG design. Early in the process of designing my game Peace, I decided to call PCs in the game heroes. So that would make it so that there was no ambiguity about who they were. Of course, that would mean if I were going to call them heroes, the system could not punish them for leaping headfirst into danger. Incoming disclaimer, my game is not a rule of cool system. Secondary disclaimer, not because there is anything wrong with rule of cool. The system would not be designed as a rule of cool system because generally I would find a competent PC rule of cool system a little bit unsatisfying. That's personal preference on my part. If you know anything about me, I find consequence light or free role playing very bland. So though I wanted competent PCs who were unafraid to put their butts on the line because the system would not immediately make them regret it. I did not want the system to be a describe it cool and there is little to no chance that you'll fail type of system. Instead, I wanted the PCs to feel extremely comfortable risking life and limb to save their world. I wanted them to know that if they played smart and effectively used the impressive abilities that they had, the system wouldn't slap them down and say, "Who the hell do you think you are, the main character?" However, they had to know that they were not immortal. The player characters could not carelessly take risks because there is a philosophy behind the rules that says consequence-free role-playing can be fun, but pieces is not that game. That was the first design principle behind Peace. From hero creation to when the hero finally hangs up her sword, if she lives that long, she will never feel like she is not the hero of the story. So that, in a nutshell, was one of the principles or focuses of the game that I wanted to create Peace. And I'm going to be doing more videos. Please, in the comments below, if you want to discuss the idea or your feelings about any RPG in which the characters are super frail, please put those comments in the bottom down there below, and I will continue to do videos like this as supplemental videos to my channel if I have any time, because all of my focus is really on after 14 years, you probably can understand me being desperate to finally finish this work. And right now, because of a lot of the restrictions on playing other things, I see no reason to not wholly focus on completing Peace because of all of the restrictions that are going on right now. So thanks for checking out this video. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever and wherever you are watching this video, and be safe, everybody. Thanks a lot.